Hi, I'm Sean. Today I'm looking at how Venus will impact your life in October. Think of Venus as the cosmic queen of charm, cash, and beauty, and her mood changes halfway through the month. For the first part of the month, in Virgo, she goes practical. Then in Libra, she glides into elegance, harmony, and just a touch of luxury. So until the 13th Venus is still in Virgo, here, she swaps her silk robe for a crisp linen apron and gets to work. This is the goddess of love in her let's make things better mode, refining relationships, tidying up emotional clutter, and making affection feel like a well-packed lunchbox. Love becomes practical. Think acts of service, thoughtful texts, and helping your partner fix their CV. Financially, Venus in Virgo is the queen of spreadsheets. She favors cautious spending, smart budgeting, and investing in things that last. Hello, ergonomic office chair. Creative projects thrive under her watchful eye, especially those that require precision, like editing a manuscript, designing a minimalist logo, or finally organizing your Etsy shop. It's not flashy, but it's deeply satisfying. Venus in Virgo reminds us that love and money both flourish when we care enough to pay attention to the details. Then Venus moves into Libra. I simply love Venus in Libra. She's finally home, and she knows it. This is Venus at her most elegant, diplomatic, and flirtatiously fair. Suddenly, we're craving candlelit dinners, matching outfits, and conversations that feel like poetry. Relationships take center stage, not with drama, but with grace. Think couples therapy that actually works, or finally agreeing on the color of the living room walls. Financially, Venus in Libra loves beauty with a budget, investing in art, upgrading your wardrobe with timeless pieces, or launching a business that blends aesthetics and ethics. It's also a great time for collaborations, whether you're co-hosting a workshop, signing a partnership deal, or just splitting the bill with style. Venus in Libra reminds us that love and money both thrive when we seek balance, beauty, and a little bit of charm. So let's look at how each sign will do. Hi Aries. Venus starts October in your 6th house of work, routines, and wellness, making love feel like a shared calendar and a well-packed lunch. You're showing affection by helping out, being reliable, and maybe even organizing your partner's inbox. Financially, this is a great time to review your budget, streamline subscriptions, and invest in tools that boost productivity. Think ergonomic chairs or meal prep kits. When Venus glides into Libra and your 7th house of partnerships mid-month, the vibe shifts to collaboration and charm. This is prime time for financial partnerships, whether you're signing a joint lease, launching a business with a friend, or finally agreeing on how to split expenses with your partner. Venus here helps you attract win-win deals, smooth over money tensions, and maybe even fall in love with someone who shares your taste in spreadsheets and wine. Hi Taurus. Venus begins October in your 5th house of romance, creativity, and pleasure, making love feel like a cozy afternoon baking banana bread together, or finally finishing that half-written poem. You're expressing affection through thoughtful gestures and creative flair. Financially, this is a great time to invest in hobbies or passion projects, whether it's upgrading your art supplies, enrolling in a dance class, or monetizing your side hustle. When Venus moves into Libra and your 6th house of work and wellness, the vibe shifts to beautifying your daily grind. You might find financial opportunities through freelancing, wellness services, or improving your workspace. Think buying a standing desk, launching a wellness blog, or collaborating with a colleague on a stylish new project. Venus here helps you earn through grace, routine, and a touch of aesthetic magic. Hi Gemini. Venus kicks off October in your 4th house of home, family, and emotional roots, making love feel like organizing your spice rack with your partner, or finally hanging those framed photos. You're expressing affection through nesting, nurturing, and thoughtful domestic touches. Financially, this is a great time to invest in your living space. Whether it's redecorating, buying cozy essentials, or even exploring real estate options. When Venus moves into Libra and your 5th house of creativity, romance, and pleasure, the energy shifts to flirtation, fun, and financial luck. You might find money through artistic projects, passion-driven side hustles, or even speculative ventures. Just keep it classy, not risky. Venus here invites you to indulge in beauty, romance, and joyful spending. Think date nights, gallery visits, or finally launching that creative idea you've been dreaming about. Hi Cancer. Venus begins October in your 3rd house of communication, siblings, and short trips, making love feel like sweet texts, thoughtful conversations, and spontaneous coffee dates with close friends. You're expressing affection through words, helpful gestures, and maybe even a handwritten note. Financially, this is a great time to monetize your voice, whether through writing, teaching, podcasting, or negotiating deals. Small purchases related to tech, travel, or learning may also pop up. When Venus moves into Libra and your fourth house of home and emotional roots, the energy shifts to nesting and nurturing. You may feel drawn to invest in your living space, think cozy upgrades, art for the walls, or even exploring real estate. Family finances may come into focus, and emotional security becomes a priority. Venus here helps you create a beautiful sanctuary, both emotionally and materially. Hi Leo. Venus begins October in your second house of income, values, and self-worth, making love feel like gifting someone a handmade playlist, or finally organizing your jewelry drawer. You're expressing affection through thoughtful gifts, shared meals, and maybe even helping someone budget. Financially, this is a prime time to refine your income streams, review your pricing, update your CV, or invest in something that boosts your confidence. Hello, Power Blazer. When Venus moves into Libra and your third house of communication and learning, the vibe shifts to charming conversations and money through your voice. You might find financial opportunities in writing, teaching, marketing, or social media. Venus here helps you sweet-talk your way into deals, build stronger sibling bonds, and maybe even monetize your message. Whether it's a podcast, a pitch, or a poetry reading, your words have value, and Venus wants you to cash in. Hi Virgo. Venus begins October in your first house of self, identity, and personal style, giving you a magnetic glow-up. You're expressing love through thoughtful gestures, refined presence, and maybe even a wardrobe refresh that says, I care, but make it minimalist. Financially, this is a great time to invest in yourself, whether it's a new haircut, a personal branding upgrade, or tools that support your goals. You're attracting attention and opportunities simply by being your polished, intentional self. When Venus moves into Libra and your second house of money, values, and possessions, the focus shifts to financial flow. This is a prime time to boost your income, align spending with your values, and indulge in beautiful things that feel truly worth it. Think timeless pieces, quality over quantity, and maybe a little luxury that's also practical. Venus here helps you earn with grace and spend with style. Hi Libra, happy birthday. Venus begins October in your 12th house of rest, healing, and the subconscious, encouraging you to retreat, reflect, and recharge. Love feels quiet and soulful, like journaling about past relationships, reconnecting with your inner peace, or supporting someone behind the scenes. Financially, this is a good time to review hidden expenses, clear old debts, or invest in spiritual tools like therapy, meditation apps, or a solo retreat. Then, on October 13th, Venus enters Libra and your first house of self and identity, and suddenly, you're glowing. This is your cosmic moment. You're magnetic, charming, and financially attractive. People want to work with you, date you, and maybe even pay you just to be fabulous. It's a great time to invest in your appearance, personal brand, or solo ventures. Venus here helps you attract love and money simply by being your most graceful, authentic self. Hi Scorpio. Venus begins October in your 11th house of friendships, networks, and long-term goals, making love feel like shared dreams and late-night brainstorming with your favorite people. You're expressing affection through support, collaboration, and showing up for your community. Financially, this is a great time to monetize your connections, whether through group projects, referrals, or launching something with friends. You may also see gains from past efforts or social visibility. When Venus moves into Libra and your 12th house of rest, healing, and hidden matters, the energy turns inward. Love becomes quiet, spiritual, and reflective. Think journaling, dream work, or reconnecting with someone from the past. Financially, this is a good time to review hidden expenses, settle old debts, or invest in spiritual tools like therapy, retreats, or creative solitude. Venus here helps you recharge, reflect, and realign your values with inner peace. Hi Sagittarius. Venus begins October in your 10th house of career and public image, making love feel like admiration from afar, or maybe a flirtation with someone in your professional orbit. You're expressing affection through ambition, support, and showing up as your best self. Financially, this is a great time to polish your professional presence, update your LinkedIn, pitch a new idea, or invest in tools that elevate your status. You may attract money through promotions, visibility, or creative leadership. When Venus moves into Libra and your 11th house of friendships and networks, the energy shifts to collaboration and community. Financial gains may come through group projects, referrals, or social media. Love becomes more social. Think bonding over shared dreams, attending events, or meeting someone through mutual friends. Venus here helps you connect, collaborate, and cash in on your charisma. Hi Cap. Venus begins October in your 9th house of travel, wisdom, and expansion, making love feel like deep conversations over coffee, booking a retreat with your partner, or bonding through shared beliefs. You're expressing affection through learning, teaching, and exploring new perspectives. Financially, this is a great time to invest in education, publishing, or travel, whether it's a course that boosts your career or a trip that inspires your next big idea. When Venus moves into Libra and your 10th house of career and public image, the energy shifts to ambition with elegance. You're attracting attention professionally, and financial opportunities may come through promotions, public recognition, or creative leadership. Venus here helps you elevate your brand, charm your way into success, and make career moves that feel both strategic and stylish. Hi Aquarius. Venus begins October in your 8th house of shared resources and emotional depth, making love feel intense, intimate, and maybe a little mysterious. You're expressing affection through vulnerability, deep conversations, and supporting others through transformation. Financially, this is a great time to review joint finances, taxes, or investments. Think consolidating debt, renegotiating shared expenses, or exploring passive income. When Venus moves into Libra and your 9th house of travel, wisdom, and expansion, the energy lightens and lifts. You may feel drawn to invest in education, publishing, or a meaningful trip. Love becomes more adventurous. Think bonding over philosophy, planning a romantic getaway, or falling for someone from a different culture. Venus here helps you align your values with your vision, and may even bring financial blessings through teaching, writing, or spiritual pursuits. Hi Pisces. Venus begins October in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships, making love feel like thoughtful gestures, deep listening, and maybe even helping your partner organize their inbox. You're expressing affection through service, support, and showing up with sincerity. Financially, this is a great time to review contracts, negotiate deals, or strengthen financial partnerships, whether romantic or professional. When Venus moves into Libra and your 8th house of shared resources and emotional depth, things get more intense and intimate. You may feel drawn to merge finances, explore joint investments, or settle debts. Love becomes transformative. Think soul-bonding conversations, emotional healing, or rekindling trust. Venus here helps you navigate money matters with grace and deepen connections that are both emotionally and financially meaningful.